everyone, this is Manoj, your German trainer. In this session, I am going to take you through relative pronouns, what relative pronouns are, and how these are used in German language. So, as we see, we have these four categories in this language: so masculine, feminine, neutral, and plural. And we have four different cases, which are nominative, accusative, dative, and genitive. In nominative, we have articles der, die, das, and die in terms of plural and singular. Accusative, we have den, die, das, die. Dative, we have dem, der, den, denen. And genitive, we use as dessen, deren, dessen, and deren. How these are implemented: a relative pronoun introduces a subordinate clause called a relative clause that relates back to a noun just mentioned in the order to add extra information about the noun. It is commonly embedded in a main clause, which is shown in German by placing comma before both before and after it, while the use of comma with related clause in English is inconsistent. Example: Der Mann, der nebenan wohnt, hat die Absicht, nach Amerika auszuwandern. The man who lives next door is intending to immigrate to America. Now, in this example, the word order in the main clause, that is, der Mann hat die Absicht, nach Amerika auszuwandern, remains untouched by the insertion of relative clause, der nebenan wohnt. The finite verb in the main clause remains in second position as it would without the addition of relative clause, whereas the verb in relative clause is in final position. Unlike English, but in accordance with it being a form of subordinate clause. The gender of relative pronouns is determined by that of the noun which it relates back to, while its case is determined by a grammatical role it is playing in the relative clause. In this example, there has been selected from the paradigm as man is masculine and the relative pronoun der is the subject of would. But look at these examples where other cases forms occur. Mein Nachbar, den ich sehr gern habe, ist Deutscher. So we see in this sentence, den is representing der mein Nachbar, but it is an accusative because ich is my nominative part. Das ist die Lehrerin, deren Sohn in meiner Klasse ist. We see this deren is used for the Lehrerin whose son is in my class. There are several complications in English with regard to relative pronouns that do not exist in German. The relative in English can either be who or which, depending on whether the antecedent is personal or not, or even that for both personal and non-personal antecedents. In fact, the relative pronoun is commonly even omitted in English, though only when it is not the subject of its clause, but it can never be omitted in German. All the following examples can only be considered in one way in German. That is not the man whom I saw in town last night. That is not the man that I saw in town last night. That is not the man I saw in town last night. All these three sentences are represented by one single sentence in German. Das ist nicht der Mann, den ich gestern Abend in der Stadt gesehen habe. The same applies to the next example. This is the table which we renovated. That is the table that we renovated. This is the table that we renovated. Dies ist der Tisch, den wir renoviert haben. You must be careful with omitted that's in English. Often an omitted that is the subordinate conjunction das, not a relative pronoun. But in German, omission is not possible in any case. I hope the session was useful for you. In case you like the session, subscribe to my channel Insightful German and press the bell icon for regular updates. Thank you for watching. I'll be back with my another session. Have a great day.